Hello everybody, today we're going to talk about unit number 11, passages 1, and the situations that we have here. What would you do, it says. Look at the situations and people's responses, what would you do? Let's gonna check out. If you accidentally damage a parked car in parking lot, if the owner weren't around, I'd leave a note with my phone number. I wouldn't leave a note if the owner weren't around. Second, if you found out your coworker got the job using false credentials, I would keep it secret only if I like my coworker. I would keep it secret unless my boss asked me directly about it. Next, if you found some money on the street, I wouldn't try to return it unless it were a large amount. Even if I weren't really broke, I give the money to the police. This is the second conditional, so here we have the if clause and then we have to use the simple past. And next to, we use the modal verb would to describe uh, unreal situations. Remember that the verb would, it's a modal verb, and in front of it, we have to use the base form of a verb. Now we'll have here like a little pair work. It's statistics. We're gonna read them and check out what the information that was provided by people in this survey. 62% said would never fail to report damaging car even if nobody were present. 48% think it's unacceptable to use false credentials on a job application. 18% wouldn't keep money they found on the street. 58% would never illegally avoid paying the fare on public transportation. And 25% thinks it's never okay to exceed the speed limit while driving. Now we're gonna do exercise 2. It says listening, finders, keepers. We're gonna listen to Aaron and Ling talking about finding something. Okay, so it's time to check out and practice listening.
Unit 11, Values, Lesson A, page 88. Exercise 2, Finders Keepers. Listen to Aaron and Leanne talking about finding something. Are these statements true or false, or does the person not say? Choose the correct answer. 1. Aaron.
I was with my son at the supermarket. He was about 8 years old at the time, and he found a wallet on the floor. Inside it was $100 bill. $100. He picked it up and got all excited. In fact, neither of us could really believe it. He started talking about all the things he would buy. Right away, I told him that we couldn't keep it. He seemed disappointed at first. We started asking people if they had lost anything. After asking around for a while, we hadn't found anyone, and I was beginning to think we'd asked everyone. But then, as we were walking to the front of the store, I noticed a man, actually my son noticed him, pacing back and forth, shaking his head and muttering something. I thought it was probably his wallet, so we asked him, and it was. My son felt better when he saw how relieved the man was about getting his money back. That was our good deed for the day. And the man gave my son $10 as a reward for returning the wallet.
2. Leanne. I was on a train from Washington, D.C. to New York last month when I found a book lying under my seat. It was just a little book, not an expensive one. It was probably only worth a few dollars. Well, I really wanted to read it. It was pretty interesting. And by the end of the trip, I was still reading it, so I decided to keep it. I took it home and finished it. Now, every time I see it on my bookshelf, I wonder if I should have taken it or not. I mean, do you think I should have given it to the train conductor? Who knows? Like I said, it wasn't a very expensive book, so I didn't really feel guilty about taking it.
Alright, now let's gonna check the answers. As you see here, the first statement, Aaron's son wanted to keep the wallet and spend the money. Okay, let's check out. So it's true. Aaron's son received thank you card as reward. Well, actually not. He received $10 as reward. And the owner of the book probably didn't care much about it. Well, it doesn't say. He was never mentioned it. And Lynn will probably return the book. False. No, she kept it on her shelf. All right, now let's gonna go to the next part. So here we have present and real conditional with unless, only if, and even if. So what is the use of it? Okay, it's simple. The present and real conditional with you unless, only if, and even if. So we have unless clauses include exceptions that would change the speaker's decision. I wouldn't try to return it unless it were a large amount. I would keep it a secret unless my boss asked me directly about it. Only if clauses stress the condition for the result. I would keep the secret only if I like my coworker, even if clauses are followed by unexpected results. Even if I were really broke, I'd give the money to the police. So look the separation of the comma when we start with if, and when we start with would, there's no comma. So it's important to take this in consideration. Now it's time to practice. We're gonna choose the words that are true for you, and then you're gonna complete the sentences. All right, so that will be our first activity. You're gonna tell me what of this information is true for you. All right, well, in this exercise, the answers can vary. Now let's gonna go to the next section. So we have vocabulary in speaking. It's a little unethical, sorry. These words describe people's ethics and attitudes, which prefixes give them the opposite meaning. Put the words in the correct columns. So we have here this, ill, ear, and on. And let's gonna check them out. Okay, you're gonna check them out with me. With this, we have disagreeable, disapproving, dishonest. So which means the opposite. Then for ill, we have illegal, illogical, irrational, irresponsible. And on, we have unacceptable, unethical, fair, unscrupulous, and untrustworthy. So these are called prefixes, and you collocate it at the beginning, and the adjective will mean the opposite. Well, here we have an activity 2. So this will be our activity number 2 for the student's book. And you're gonna pick up any of these situations. It says use the vocabulary words in part A, no, so that we have already seen. It says, would you ever make an international call from work to save money? Would you ever play a practical joke on your friends? Would you ever tell a friend with a terrible new haircut that you think it's fantastic? Okay, so this is our second activity. Now we will move on to the vocabulary and the grammar plus. And well, this is the grammar plus. We have present real conditional with unless, only if, and even if. So, well, as you can see, we have to ask follow-up questions after yes/no question. A shortened conditional can be used especially in spoken or informal English. The positive shortened conditional is if so, and the negative shortened conditional is if not. Would you consider lying to a good friend to avoid hurting your friend's feeling? If so, what kinds of things would you lie about? And are you sure for friends? Or are you sure your friends are loyal and trusting? If not, you shouldn't tell them your secrets. Okay, so it's time to pause the video. You can pause the video and try to check out the answers with me. Now let's check out the answers. Would you say anything if colleague call you by the wrong name? It says C. If so, what would you do? What would you say? Second, if the man next to you on the bus falls asleep on your shoulder, will you wake him up? It says E. If so, how would you wake him up? Third, will you remain silent if you disagree with your boss in meeting? And we have A. If not, what would you say? Then fourth, B. Will you report it if you saw a friend steal small item from store? And B. If not, would you confront your friend? Number 5, if people you secretly dislike invited you to a party at their home, would you go? Then letter F. If not, what excuse would you give? And 6, if a cat always came to your house for food, would you keep it? And D, if not, would you try to find its owner? Okay, so now we must digest no questions on the left. Okay, we're gonna go to the next exercise. Alright, the next exercise we have review the rules for the present and real conditions with unless, only if, and even if on page 89. Choose the correct answer to complete each sentence. I wouldn't lie to a friend unless, etc. Now let's gonna check out the answers with me. You can pause the video. So here you go. So I wouldn't lie to a friend unless if it was in his or her best interest. Second, we have, if you found money on the street, would you turn it into the police? If not, what would you do with it? Third, it's even if and if so. Would you report the shoplifter even if the person looked poor? And if so, would you tell the store manager or would you call the police? Number four, he wouldn't lose his temper even if he were really angry. Number five, would you confront a friend who gossiped about you behind your back? If so, what would you say? And sixth, even if I wouldn't read anyone else's mail, uh, even if I were really curious. And seven, would you make a promise if you already knew you couldn't keep it? That's if so. What would you do later when you didn't keep the promise? And eight, only if I would criticize my friends, only if I knew a way to help them improve. Alright, so this is our grammar plus. Now let's gonna go back to the vocabulary plus. Well, for the vocabulary plus, we have already seen the words that means like the opposite, forming antonyms with prefixes. So we're gonna choose the true statement. You can pause the video in this section. I'm gonna just scroll it down a little bit. Perfect. So now you can start answering by yourself and choosing the right answer. No, so choose a true statement for each sentence. So Nick thinks it's unethical to tell white lie even if so protect someone's feelings. Second, May believes that making witches is irrational and that gives people false hopes. That would be letter B. May thinks that making wishes is illogical. The accountant is scrupulous about tracking all of the company's profits. So that's B. The accountant is responsible. Then four. Ma's lawyer think the judge has solid reputation for being trustworthy. So it's letter A. The judge behavior is ethical. Fifth, the investigator reported that the bank's lending practices may be unscrupulous. That's A. The bank's lending practices may be illegal. And six, it's unfair to copy test answers from students, another student. That's number six. It's B. It's unethical to copy test answers from another student. Now we'll have ethical dilemmas. Read the situations. What would you do? Well, here we have a situations. So number one, you have plans for several weeks to visit your aunt. The day before, your friend invites you to a really great party the same night. Would you cancel your original plans? If so, would you tell the truth or a white lie about why you were canceling? Would you cancel your plans even if you knew your aunt were looking forward to seeing you? Second, you are at the convenience stores and you see someone shoplifting a can of soup. Would you tell the clerk? What if the shoplifter were a woman with a small child? Would it make a difference if the shoplifter looked dangerous? And third, you work full time during the day. You are also a part time student in the evening course, so you have a student ID card. Businesses all over town give discounts to students. We use your student's ID to get the cheaper prices. What if you earn a high salary at your job? Would you make difference you were buying from a major chain store or from small mom and pop business? All right, so that would be our third activity. So here you will pick up any of these situations. And now let's continue with the discussion. Too good to be true. Which of these situations seem reliable? Choose those seem legitimate. Legitimate. Sorry. Well, as you can see, there's different situations, so you can pick up any. So this is for you. And now we're gonna finish with the thesis. Well, this is about writing thesis statement. What is a thesis statement? A topic sentence states the main idea of a single paragraph. A thesis statement introduces the topic of composition. It is often located at the beginning or end of the first paragraph. So read the compositions and choose the best thesis statement from the choices below. Then write T where you think the thesis statement should appear. Okay, so now you have the text. We're gonna pause the text, read it completely and calmly. But first, we have the next thesis statements. We have I made some bad decisions. We learned a lot from the decisions we make. I have good, bad memories of all friendships. So In order to know which one is most proper, you have to read the keywords of the paragraphs, know the first topic sentences, and then you can have a better idea. All right, so you can pause the video in this section, and well, we're gonna check the answers along. Well, you chose number two. We learn a lot of from the decision we make. That this statement should be either the first or the last sentence in the first paragraph. So this is when emphasis. Okay, this is the it ends right here in the period. That will be considered the thesis statement. And then says write your four paragraph composition about happy memory and regret. Follow the guidelines. So you can see here this is like a structure to making your own thesis statement. So that will be pretty much it for today of Unit 11. And this is the first section. So we may continue with the workbook 2 and as well the second section and the same with the workbook part 2. So hope you have a wonderful day. See you soon. Take care. Bye bye.